we'll get used to it.
May I proceed?
You may.
Tell the jury who you are.
My name is Leslie Christian. I have been employed with Renaissance Bank for 24 years, and I am currently the financial crime supervisor.
Okay. So you work for Renaissance Bank. Do you work in Tupelo?
I do.
Okay. Do you have a Renaissance branch bank in Grenada?
Yes, we actually have two.
Is that on Commerce Street?
It is.
What's the address there?
1537.
1537 Commerce Street. Now, at that location, is there an ATM?
Yes, there is.
Does that ATM have a video recorder?
Yes, it does.
Now, I want to direct your attention back to July 8th of 2022, around that time frame. 2022, did law enforcement come looking for video surveillance from that branch bank at 1537 Commerce Street in Grenada?
That is correct. We received a subpoena.
All right. Did you respond to that?
I did.
Did you pull the footage from that ATM?
I did.
All right. May I approach?
Okay.
Have this marked for identification.
Your Honor, we don't have a problem with it being admitted, with the court noting our previous objections.
All right.
It's no relevance at this point in time, and also other objections.
Do
Other
it.
objections prior,
Okay, prior objection.
and the objections are relevant at this time.
All right. Okay. That's going to be a thumb drive. All right, S44 will be admitted.
I believe what we're going to do is just put a frame of that exhibit up, and I think you'll be able to see it on the monitor. While he's doing that, the contents of that jump drive, have you reviewed that?
Yes, I have.
Is that the same surveillance video that you provided law enforcement?
Yes, it is.
Back in 2022?
Yes.
Now, the duration or length of that clip that you provided, was that about 1 minute and 3 seconds?
Yes, it was.
All right. All right, can you see the image on your monitor? Now I'm going to direct your attention to the timestamp. Was that date and timestamp accurate?
Yes, it was.
All right, so where it says, it's got 2022 first, referring to the year, correct?
Correct.
And then the date would be 7/8,
Correct.
which is July the 8th.
Right.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then the time stamp on it is 18:55 and 14 seconds.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Would that, looking at that time, would that be AM or PM?
This would be military time, so this would be 6:55 p.m.
6:55 PM is the correct time.
Correct.
Was the date and time accurate?
Yes, it directly matched to a transaction that we were able to find a record of.
Okay, I'm
You need to hear the response. Was the time and date accurate?
Yes, it was.
All right. Is the time and date on that exhibit accurate now?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Tender the witness, Your Honor.
Any cross-examination?
No cross.
The shortest witness we have this year, yesterday, thank you for being here, have a safe trip.
Absolutely, thank
Now
you.
this witness is free to go. You're free to go, thank you. Who would you call as your next witness?
Say we call Dana Hood.
Who?
Dana Hood.
Dana Hood. Somebody, get Dana Hood.
May I proceed?
You may.
Tell the jury who you are.
My name is Dana Hood, and I'm the office manager of Family Time Cleaners.
Okay. Back in 2022, was that cleaners, RNS cleaners?
Yes, it was.
All right. So when did the name change?
I believe it was April of 23.
And that microphone is far away from you.
But so,
If you don't mind, is that okay?
it's fine.
All right. So when did the name change from RNS cleaners to, what did you say?
Family Time Cleaners.
Okay,
I
Family
believe
Time
it was April of 23.
But back in July of 2022, it was RNS cleaners, correct? All right. And what is RS cleaners
A dry cleaning business
in Grenada?
in Grenada.
What is the address?
1793 Commerce Street,
1793 Commerce.
Commerce Street, Grenada.
All right. Now, what do y'all do?
We launder clothes and all kinds of items.
Is it like dry cleaning?
Dry cleaning, yes.
Now, back in October of this year, did law enforcement come looking for a video that was provided by RNS cleaners back in 2022?
Yes, they came and
Did you review that video at the time?
I did.
And did you provide a certificate of authenticity to that video?
I did.
All right. Now then, if I can have this marked for ID.
If it's 45.
All right, I'm going to hand you what's been marked for ID as Exhibit 45. Have you reviewed the contents of that? Is that the same video that back in October when you authenticated it accurately depict what you authenticated back in October?
Yes.
All right. And is that, did you review that exhibit this morning?
I did.
And verify that it was the same video?
I did.
All right. Now then, when you did that, you signed and dated it, correct?
That's correct.
All right. Now, can you tell the jury whether the timestamp, whether you reviewed the timestamp and date of that
I did. Yes.
video.
It's
Was,
correct.
was that accurate?
It was accurate.
Can you tell the jury how you determined that it was accurate?
It's on the camera footage, it's time-stamped, and on the receipt that we printed out when the customer brought the clothes in is also time-stamped.
They were consistent. Did you look to see whether there had been any issues with the receipt system and the surveillance system?
There
Whether
were
they
no
were-
issues.
No issues with it whatsoever. And the system that you have now, is it the same?
It is.
And is it accurate today?
is.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask that that be received into evidence.
No objection,
All
other
right.
than the ones previously
All right.
stated.
It'll be, S-45 will be admitted.
Court's indulgence. The receipt that you used to verify the accuracy of the video surveillance, do you have that with you today?
I do. Les, she has it.
I got a copy of it.
You've got a copy of it?
But do I need to use it?
Got another one coming there behind if you need it.
So this mark for ID. Well, why?
You gonna do that as a collective?
Her, you climb up on the ladder and fix our window shades last night. They look really good this morning anyway. I just want you to know that, hey, I'm glad to have that in the courtroom anyway. You've done a really good job, and I'm gonna commend you on it.
Yes, I mean, you wanna do all these pages?
Yes, sir. Collective. It's the entire,
You know, by the page, I'm gonna number the pages, it's, I did yesterday.
What'd y'all eat last night? Well, you tell us too, if you want to. I guess a better question, rather than the old audit, where did yours get sent to eat last night? Yeah. Turn out okay? Y'all may volunteer to do your bet on it. Y'all coming along here, guys?
Right there.
Speak more while you're standing there looking at yourself. How about playing this treat? Could you pass this down to Kathy so it won't get lost? Thank you.
Reference.
while he's reviewing that, Ms.
For
I'm
the
sorry.
record, I marked on the bottom down there the pages so we don't have any confusion on the exhibit. He's gonna marked as the next number item.
It is, that's what's gonna be the next numbered exhibit. It hasn't been marked at this time, has it? It hasn't been, ID'd at this time, has it?
It has not.
Mr. Creekmore, you're gonna be asking this document to be marked.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
This document here, you're gonna ask it to be marked.
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's go ahead and get that on the road then. That's gonna be S-46.
That's why I needed her up here today.
Are y'all looking at, the jury's looking at this, well, this has been introduced into evidence, I guess, but, it's been displayed if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, the video being displayed has
It's already been
received.
received.
Okay, just making sure.
Mark it, received.
It has, set 45 has been admitted anyway.
You got this one received. All right, Ms. Hood, if you'll look on your screen, do you see the image displayed? Is that from your business
Yes,
there
it
in
is.
Grenada? And you were able to identify the date, 7/8/22, 9/29/40, is that AM?
AM, yes.
AM? And you were able to determine that that was correct time?
That's
and
right.
date. All right. Now then, I would ask that Exhibit 46 be received in evidence.
No problem.
All right,
8 pages, I think, Mr. Freeman. Make sure.
somebody tell me what that is. I'm gonna receive it, so I'll make my notes here.
It's the invoice records from the transaction.
Invoice records from the cleaners.
Tim Hearing.
Okay.
Seven pages. Kevin, Mr. O'Ryan. So,
7
all right, I'm going to hand you Exhibit 46. Do you recognize that as transaction records from transaction from that day at your cleaners?
That's correct.
All right, that's not the original receipt though, is it?
No, this is just a copy from,
But you
Here.
printed that out recently?
I did.
And it has the new name of the business at the top?
That's right.
But it's the same system,
Same system.
okay? And you still had those records from this transaction on July 8th, 2022?
This is the actual transaction from July 8th, 2022.
Okay. And can you state that that's, the time on that receipt is consistent with this video?
Yes.
Court's involved. Ms. Hood, other than law enforcement coming to request any records from any transactions from July 8th, 2022, has anybody else asked you about those records from that day?
No.
Okay. Has anybody come to you and asked you for records from that transaction? Or about that transaction?
Actually, I received a phone call from Mr. Herrington asking for a copy of the receipt. Okay. I received a phone call from Mr. Herrington asking for a copy of the receipt.
Okay.
And so I left it at the front so he could pick it up, this exact receipt, well, copy of the receipt.
Okay.
And then the next day, his mother came in and wanted a copy of the receipt. So I gave her the exact same thing. And she said, well, I was hoping it would be more detailed and show that it was a suit. And I explained to her that this is all we could produce, and that's all the computer would do.
Did she ask you to alter or change it?
No.
Okay. Tender the witness, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, Mr. Hood, that's an active account, though, at that time. It's not, that wasn't just a unique, that Timmy Herrington had an account there.
He did.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can you redirect?
No, Your Honor.
This witness be finally excused? Thank you for being here, Mr. Hood. You're free to go.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to stay with us. If you choose not to, but you're welcome to if you like, or you can go to your day. You have a good, safe trip home, okay? Who would you call this next week? Everybody good over there?
Christopher Klink.
Christopher Clink?
Christopher Klink. K-L-I-N-C-K.
Come around, Mr. Clink. Put the face of the court reporter there, raise your right hand and be sworn in, please. I come right around here and have a seat in the witness chair there.
Just be on standby.
Okay.
May I proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Tell the jury who you are.
Thomas Christopher Clink,
All right, and where do you live, Mr. Klink?
140 Broadmeadow Drive, Grenada, Mississippi.
All right, now where you live across the street, your neighbor who lives directly across from you,
The Herringtons,
okay? Now, do you know Tim Herrington?
yes,
Did you see him in the courtroom today?
yes, sir.
All right. Is it, living across the street, when you say the Harringtons, are you talking about that's his mother and daddy's house?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did Tim Herrington visit there frequently in the summer of 2022?
Yes,
Okay. Did you know you've already stated you know who Tim Herrington is, but if you saw him, you would recognize him, correct?
yes,
All right. Now, does your home have a video surveillance system?
yes,
All right. And back in July of 2022, did you have a home video surveillance system?
yes.
All right. Now, where is that camera oriented? What kind of angle or picture would it be designed or placed to get? What is the view of that camera?
The front of our house,
All right. Does it capture the yard and driveway to a certain extent of the Herrington home?
a little bit to a certain extent.
All right. Now, back in July of 2022, was the date correct on your system?
I believe so.
All right. And what about the timing?
It was off.
Okay.
Your
Now,
Honor, I know we're headed with this, but I just want to make sure, I think I procedurally have to object on the relevance of every witness.
I understand objection, in relation to the prior objection the court has ruled on. That's- Note you have a continued objection, it's all is not objection.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as Exhibit 47 for ID. Do you recognize the image depicted in that exhibit?
Yes.
How do you recognize that?
That is, I'll recognize it by our yard, our driveway, my son's truck.
Do you remember, were you present when that document was created?
Yes.
All right,
No objection to the judge.
all right. Stay with ASCII.
Let's mark first, right?
It's marked.
This 47.
Yes. All right. That's 47. I'm going to display it on the screen. Got to change to
Yeah, it should be on there.
document. Kind of a blur on it. All right, is that image being displayed on your screen? All right, Exhibit 47. Now, this first cell phone right here, it's got a date on it of August 5th, 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and the image being displayed on that cell phone is from is that a live feed of your video surveillance home security system?
Is that picture a live feed or is
Was
it
it a live
always?
feed at the time that this was created?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
All right, and whose phone is it on top of? The one that says 650?
I don't recall, honestly.
Was it depicting the current time at the
Yes.
time? Was it depicting the current time at the time that this document was created?
Yes, sir.
Was that time 650 accurate?
Yes, sir.
All right. So was this created to show the time difference
Yes, sir.
in order to arrive at the correct time for your home surveillance system, correct?
Correct.
All right. And that was done because law enforcement came out to find the correct time for your home surveillance system, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, prior to that, had law enforcement come to your home to gather video footage going back to July 8th, 2022.
Yes, sir.
Did you provide that to law enforcement?
They had a warrant, yes, sir, so I provided it.
They had a search warrant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Going to hand you Exhibit 48. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, sir.
And if you don't mind speaking to that, Mark.
Yes, sir.
All right. And did you examine the contents of that exhibit?
Yes,
Did they accurately depict what you provided law enforcement in 2022 pursuant to that search warrant for your home surveillance system?
yes.
All right. Your Honor, I would ask that this be received.
Sure.
All right, that's for the S-48. Is that correct?
Yes.
You need
All right, if you'll just pull up that first clip. Steve. Now, on that exhibit, were there 8 different times that files were created? Approximately?
Approximately.
There was more than one, correct?
Yes,
More than 5?
yes.
Less than 10?
If these are them right here, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 9, yes.
And we're just going to take them one at a time. We're going to display a still shot and just see if you recognize it, okay?
Okay.
Go to 9:26:47. Huh? Yeah, I'm watching. We can pause. All right. Looking at that, that particular spot on that video surveillance, the time stamp right there is 9:26:46. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
In order for you to arrive at the correct time, you would have to make a calculation based on this exhibit in 47, correct?
Yes,
To get the accurate time.
correct.
But the date, July 8th, 2022, that's accurate.
I believe so.
Was it accurate then? The date?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm going to ask you to look at Exhibit 47. Is that
Okay.
the exact difference between your live feed of your home video surveillance and the current time at the time this exhibit was created?
Yes, sir.
So if you take that difference and apply it to here, would that date on that exhibit be July 8th, 2022?
Yes,
Is that true with all the other clips as well?
yes,
And you've reviewed every clip on this exhibit, correct?
Before I came in, I think we reviewed most of them. I don't know if I reviewed every
We'll
one
go
of them.
through each one. Let's go to the second one. Let's do time. All right, if you pause it. Now, this second clip, do you see how it's been zoomed in? And
Yes.
it doesn't have a date or time, does it?
No.
All right. But do you recognize the front yard there in the bottom right portion of the image that's being displayed on the second video file?
Yes.
Whose yard is that?
The Herringtons.
And do you see that box truck across the street?
Yes.
All right. Is that parked in the on the curb by the front yard of the Herrington home?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the third clip. I think that one's trimmed down too. All right. Do we have a date? All right, pause. Same question. You recognize that front yard, the driveway, the truck? Whose truck is that? The white truck parked in in the driveway.
That's my son's truck.
Okay. All right. And that too is on July 8th, 2022.
Yes.
And you would have to make the same adjustment to arrive at the correct time based on Exhibit 47. And I submit to you that on that, looking at Exhibit 47, your home surveillance system image being projected, it says 542, does it not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And the phone underneath it says 650, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's going to be a difference of basically an hour and 8 minutes.
Yes.
So looking back at the time frame on exhibit, the third file on exhibit 48, you'd have to adjust that by an hour and 8 minutes to arrive at the correct time. But the date, 7/8/2022 is correct.
Yes.
All right, let's go to 4. And 9:38. All right, same question, do you recognize that?
Yes.
Did you provide this image to law enforcement pursuant to the search warrant?
Yes.
And the date on that is correct and accurate? And the time would have to be adjusted based on the differential in Exhibit 47, correct?
Correct.
All right. Let's go to the 5th clip. Let's go to 6:32. All right. Looking at the image on the 5th clip, your system says 7/8/2022. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right. And then over there it says 1832. Is that military time
Yes.
on your home surveillance system? All right. But you would have to make the adjustment to arrive at the correct time based on the differential in Exhibit 47, correct?
Yes.
All right. And does that accurately depict what you provided to law enforcement pursuant to the search warrant?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the 6th clip. Let's go to 1927. All right, pause. All right, looking at the date on the image being depicted from the 6th clip, the date on that, July 8th, 2022, is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, the time over here is 1927. To arrive at the accurate time on that clip, you would have to make the adjustment based on the differential in Exhibit 47, correct?
Correct.
And does that accurately depict the video you provided to law enforcement pursuant to the search warrant?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to clip 7. I think it's down here. All right. Now, looking at the image projected on your screen on the 7th clip, the date on there, July 8th, 2022, is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, and the 2018 mark, that's military time based on your home surveillance system, correct?
Right.
But to arrive at the correct time, you would have to make an adjustment based on the differential in Exhibit 47, correct?
Correct.
All right. The last image on that exhibit pause it right there. Looking at the image projected on your screen, the date, July 8th, 2022, is that accurate?
Yes.
All right, and the time, 13:59, military time. So it would be, I guess, saying, was that 1 o'clock? 1:59? But to arrive at the correct time, you would have to make an adjustment based on the differential in Exhibit 47, correct?
Correct.
And does that accurately depict a video surveillance file that you provided to law enforcement from your home video surveillance system pursuant to the search warrant?
Yes.
Courts and votes. All right. Thank you, Chair. Yes, sir. All right. Now, you stated that you know the Herringtons, correct?
Yes.
All right. In fact, don't you work for the Herringtons?
I work for Grenada School District.
Is Miss Herrington your boss?
Somewhat, yes.
Okay. Is it fair to say they're a well-known family in Grenada?
Yes.
All right. Tender the witness, Sheldon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Clean, so we're perfectly clear, when they came to your house and got the video surveillance off of your, that's basically a ring camera, correct? Is it a fair statement that from the first time stamp that counsel for the state identified the earliest time in the morning, they took your entire video of that whole day, even though he provided 5 snippets, they took all of that until the latest date that he's identified in the exhibits. Fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got the entire day, and you've at some point in time viewed that entire video whenever you looked at it and watched it while they were downloading, correct? Back and forth. I know you weren't standing there by it.
Back and forth.
At the time they downloaded it, you started it, watched some of it, looked at, viewed it to make sure it was operating correctly, right? All that stuff, correct?
Correct.
All right. Would it be a fair statement during a large portion of that video, while the box truck was parked out in front of the Herrington house, there were people riding bikes up and down the street, people walking down the street, things of that nature. Do you remember that?
I can't recall that.
I mean,
to be
but you
honest.
remember y'all had someone working in your yard, and I think your son went outside, was doing some yard work with the individual at your yard, correct?
Yes, I do remember that.
You could ask and answer, he said he didn't know, then he started testifying for him.
That's cross-examination, right?
He's on cross, I'm gonna give him some leeway.
You recall seeing on the videotape, your son out in the yard and the individual in the hat. Who was that? The guy
That
in the hat.
was me in the hat.
Okay. And y'all were working?
Work, team, that's what work on my house.
Yeah, that's right. I just wanted to clear that up. You're in the yard with your son, working, and did you observe on that particular day, people, it's Friday afternoon, or Friday during the course of the day, people up and down the street on that particular day, riding bikes, things like that, and same time that Mr. Herrington came to the house?
Yes.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Jimmie driving that truck, box truck, on any particular day wouldn't necessarily be an unusual event, would it?
No.
Okay. And also, Jimmie driving that box truck and loading it up with stuff, whether it be weed eaters and stuff from the house, would not be an unusual event, a wheelbarrow, anything like that. You've seen him do that in the past, haven't you?
Correct.
And are you familiar with the fact that his grandfather and I think maybe his uncle, they rental property in town that Jimmie has responsibility of helping take care of and do things along those lines?
Yes.
And I think he's been doing that for the family there in Grenada, even during his high school years, things of that nature, right? For a
Correct.
long time.
Yes.
Court will indulge me for a minute. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Klink, you seem to know a lot about Tim Herrington. Are you friends with Tim Herrington?
We were neighbors, and we, when he was younger, he would come over to our house some, and we would, I know my kids and he and his sister jumped on our trampoline before, and yes, I would say we're.
You and Tim Herrington are friends.
I mean, I haven't spoken with him much in a long time, but I know when the kids were growing up, you know, we're around each other some.
Tell the jury whether you've actually seen Tim Herrington load up a wheelbarrow into that box truck. Specific memory.
I remember seeing a wheelbarrow being taken to the box truck, but I can't recall if it was loaded in there or not specifically.
Just that one time.
There's been times where they load things on and off, garden equipment, lawnmowers, things like that on trailers and different trucks
Trailers and different trucks.
and possibly a boxcar before.
Boxcar.
That boxcar or boxcar I've seen at the house before, yes.
You've seen it at the house before. But I'm talking about Tim Herrington loading up a wheelbarrow into that box truck. You've said one time. And that was on that day, correct?
I don't even know if it was Timothy that day. I saw some activity that day. I noticed a person, taking a wheelbarrow to the boxcar, but I'm not sure if indeed it was Timothy or not.
Court's indulgence. Cross-examination, you were very sure about that, and now you're saying you don't even know if it was Tim Herrington, correct?
Very sure about.
Yeah, on cross-examination, you said you were sure that you've seen Tim Herrington load a wheelbarrow onto that box truck. When Mr. Horan was asking you on cross-examination, you said, yeah, I'm sure of it. But now you're saying that you're not even sure if it was Tim Herrington that you saw.
It's a mischaracterization he's talking about on that particular day.
Clarify when you're talking about.
Yeah. You can answer the question.
He asked me if I remember my son working out with me in the yard. He asked me if I remember people going up and down the street. I remember seeing the boxcar. He asked
you if you were certain that you had seen Tim Herrington driving that box truck, and you said yes.
I don't remember him asking me that.
Okay.
If I remember seeing Timothy Herrington driving the boxcar.
Now, you've been reluctant to provide testimony, even you wanted a search warrant rather than cooperating with law enforcement. Is that let me finish the question. Is that a fair characterization that you've been reluctant to come provide testimony?
That's the question.
Anybody would be reluctant to be involved in something. There were various reasons why I wanted a search warrant.
I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about you. Have you been reluctant to provide testimony, provide evidence in this case that could be relevant if the court decides it is?
It's my right to have a search warrant.
I understand that. I'm just asking if you're reluctant.
to provide any evidence to any law enforcement. I don't want anybody coming into my house, going through my video without a search warrant.
I understand that.
It's not
I'll give you an
reluctance.
opportunity to explain.
Question, yes or no, and then, you can explain anything.
Is it safe to say that you are reluctant to provide testimony and potential evidence in this case?
Define reluctant, please.
That you don't want to? Because you're,
No,
because of
it's not
some,
that I don't want to.
are you afraid because,
No, I'm not afraid.
are you, do you have any fear of any retaliation against you?
No, none at all.
Entertain objection. You just brought it last way. All right, this witness be found excused.
Again.
Thanks for being here, Ms. Lynch. You're free to go. Welcome. What's that? It's been going about an hour. Y'all want a break or y'all, how long is the next witness gonna take? But let's get one more short one in if we can, okay? Who you calling?
All right, this time the state calls Douglas Pittman.
Who?
Douglas Pittman.
Come around. There's Lisa. All right, come around and have a seat in the witness chair, please.